Welcome to Justice for New York. I'm your host, Charles Collins. All documentation concerning Justice for New York videos can be found at justicefornewyork.com. There are also family court petitions concerning the right to a jury trial, petitions to vacate support magistrate and judicial hearing officers' orders as they are issued in violation of the New York State Constitution, and there is also a demand for probation reports and psychological evaluations that the court orders, but the court orders that you can't read them or see them. That is a violation of your right to due process and equal protection of the law. They also order that the people preparing these reports do not have to testify and there is no accountability. This has to stop. Demand your reports so you can know what's being told to the court. And now for our presentation. Thank you. Okay, in 1994-95, I was contacted because a father was in jail for non-payment of child support. He was serving time. So what I did was I did a writ of habeas corpus. I was the petitioner on behalf of the father. And I raised the issues that the father was denied his right to a public trial, his right to a jury trial, that the hearing examiner's office was illegal. I think those were the only three issues I raised. The appellate court denied my motion to have a writ of habeas corpus to argue it before the court to get the father out of jail. What did I do? I appealed again to the New York State Court of Appeals. And who do you think I got again? Judith Kaye, Chief Judge. Now this is her opinion. She states, now it's people, ex-rel Charles E. Collins on behalf of Charles Schufeld, appellant, versus W. Dennis Dugan, who sentenced him to jail. Ordered, the appeal being the same, hereby is dismissed without cause by the court sua sponte on its own motion, upon the ground that no substantial constitutional question is directly involved. Think about it. The right to a public trial, which was argued, is not a substantial right in New York State, according to Chief Judge Judith Kaye. The right to a jury trial before one is in prison, we've already gone through all the penalties, is not a substantial right in New York State. The right to have a judge hear the matter as opposed to a support magistrate or a hearing examiner, whatever they were calling them at the time, is not a substantial right. Even though it violates the state constitution, they're not authorized under it. This is what Judith Kaye, a Democrat, appointed by, who else? Mario Cuomo, thinks of New York State. We're not entitled to our rights. We're not entitled to have the Constitution enforced. Kaye rules on this. Simmons refuses to address the issues. Kaye says these aren't rights in New York State. And if you notice, the case law, if you read all the case law, it says no court has ever held that a person can be tried in a closed courtroom and all this other stuff. What a bunch of malarkey. They just ignore it by saying, there's no constitutional question here. We're not going to hear it. Now, let's go to New York State Penal Law. Now, all you there are all aware of it, I take it. Governor Cuomo, Eric Schneiderman, Judge Duffy. Penal law, state penal laws. Issuing a false certificate. Section 175.40. A person is guilty of issuing a false certificate when, being a public servant, authorized to make or issue official certificates or other official written instruments. Well, Kaye is a public servant. Court orders are other official instruments. And with the intent to defraud, deceive, or injure another person, which was her intent to injure the entire New York State, as a matter of fact, issues an instrument or makes the same with the intent that it be issued, knowing that it contains a false statement or false information. Well, Judge Simmons, what other issues did I raise? If he can't state what other issues I raised, he's issuing a false written instrument denying me my constitutional right to appeal to the Court of Appeals. Judge Kaye, holding, these are not substantial rights. A right to a public trial, jury trial, a court of property, a judge to hear the matter. These aren't substantial rights in New York State. Why aren't they being prosecuted? And just so you know, it will be addressed a little later. Oh no, as a matter of fact, they have them right here. I filed felony complaints against both Judge Kaye and Richard D. Simmons in the Albany County Court. Of course, Sol Greenberg is going to protect his buddies and who cover it up for them. I didn't get charged with filing a false report or a false complaint. I signed this under penalty of perjury and stated exactly this, and I think a couple of them was like 23, 24 pages long that I went into detail as to how they violated issuing a false certificate. And that's a Class E felony. So judges and attorneys can commit E felonies, and that's all right. But we can't. Official misconduct. A public servant is guilty of official misconduct when, with the intent to obtain a benefit or injure or deprive another person of a benefit. That's exactly what they're doing, depriving every citizen of this state of their constitutional rights. He commits an act relating to his official office but constituting an unauthorized exercise of his official function, knowing that such act is unauthorized. That's exactly what they're doing. He knowingly refrains from performing a duty. They're refusing to address these issues, which they're required to under the law. And they're lying about it. That's a Class A misdemeanor. And they're probably also guilty of tampering with physical evidence with the intent that it be used or introduced in official proceeding or prospective official. He knowingly makes, devises, or prepares false physical evidence. They are. Those court orders are false physical evidence to be submitted into the court record, depriving people of their constitutional right. But if you notice, they don't state it because they're cowards. They're traitors. Judge Kaye was a traitor. She was a terrorist. This isn't the only time she's made that ruling that these are not substantial rights. In about 3 other cases I think I did, she also made the exact same ruling. This is what the Democrats are doing to our judiciary in this state. They're destroying it. There is no thing as due process and equal protection of the law with these Democrats running it. And if you want to lose your children, you want to lose your house, you want to lose whatever, you can thank the Democrats if it happens. And if you vote for them, you can thank them for screwing you over because somebody in your family is going to get it. Because there isn't a family in this state that isn't involved in the family court or a criminal proceeding or anything else. And we're going to be getting into a lot more. Okay, Kaye's new statements. In a case called Duffy versus Ward, Judge Kaye and Judge Simmons, our 2 illustrious chief judges who have no clue. Well, they do have a clue. They're just out to screw us. The public, this is what they wrote in the court order. The public has a right to rest assured that its officers are individuals of moral integrity in whom they may, without second thought, place their confidence and trust. It is clear that the balance must be struck in favor of the public when the officer's interest is weighed against the state's citizens. Both Simmons and Kaye have no integrity, and they talk about it like they do. This is even better. In the Troy Record on April 21st, 2002, Judge Kaye, speaking at a symposium on said the 1777 Constitution laid down the charter, the foundation, the bedrock of the compact between New Yorkers and their government. That's called our state constitution. She said that to this day, her court seeks to protect many of the freedoms first guaranteed to New Yorkers 225 years ago, including freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and the press, and the right to a jury trial. You're a lying hypocrite. She's not there to protect anybody's rights. She's there to screw everybody out of their rights. Well, Governor Cuomo, Attorney General Snyderman, Senator Schumer, and Chief Judge DeFore, wouldn't you all agree that Judge Kaye was nothing more than a two-bit lying whore who had absolutely no respect for either the New York State Constitution and or the United States Federal Constitution? She was out there to screw litigants over, claiming that no substantial constitutional question was involved, knowing the issues were the right to a public trial before one is in prison, the right to a jury trial before one is in prison, and that the support magistrates or hearing examiners at that time had no authority to issue any order based upon the New York State Constitution. But this again, what the Democrats want. They want to destroy our constitutional rights. Our military fights for our rights, for this country. And Judge Kaye said holding these are not substantial constitutional rights, is holding that the military is not entitled to their rights. She didn't give a hoot about anybody or anything else except the Democratic Party and destroying our rights in this state. You four, let's see you do something. You're all flapping your lips about how great the Democratic Party is and how great you guys defend the little people. You don't do anything. You screw people over. Do something right for a change. I know it's going to be hard, but these illegal imprisonments have to end.